The salt spray wind carried the scent of fortune and deceit through the bustling port of Amaranthine Harbor. Lyra Solara, eldest daughter of the famed sunken treasure mercantile, clutched the shimmering dawnstone betrothal necklace, a gift from Arden Titulus, heir to their greatest rival house, unaware that its warm glow mirrored the cold envy in her sister Kayla's eyes. Across the crowded Star Wharf market, their youngest sister, Mara, hidden behind crates of glow kelp, witnessed the exchange, her heart sinking as she recognized the subtle, treacherous shimmer only she could see. Illusion dust, woven into the necklace by Kayla's own hand. Life in Amaranthine Harbor revolved around the powerful merchant houses. The Solaras, known for salvaging magical artifacts from the sunken city of Viridia, the Tituluses, masters of deep-sea pearl cultivation, and the Nemorises, controlling the rare whisperwood timber. The sisters Solara were legends. Lyra, radiant and kind-hearted, possessed an uncanny intuition for finding lost treasures. Kayla, fiercely intelligent and ambitious, mastered intricate artificery and negotiation. Mara, quiet and observant, held the rare gift of true sight, perceiving hidden magics and emotions others missed. Their bond seemed unbreakable, forged in childhood adventures exploring the Azure Coves and navigating the treacherous Silvertongue Guild auctions. Their father, Baron Solara, relied on their unique talents, dreaming of uniting the houses through Lyra's betrothal to Arden Titulus, ending generations of rivalry. Kayla's envy, however, was a slow poison. She saw Lyra's effortless charm and inherent gift overshadowing her own meticulous skill. She craved the leadership of Sunken Treasure Mercantile, believing Lyra's gentle nature ill-suited for its ruthless world. Arden Titulus, handsome and charismatic, became the focal point of her resentment. Kayla believed she deserved the alliance, the power it would bring. Using her artificer's talent, she crafted the Dawnstone necklace, a thing of beauty imbued with subtle enchantments. The illusion dust woven within amplified Arden's charm and affection specifically towards Lyra, while simultaneously projecting an aura of sincerity and warmth from Lyra, masking her natural, sometimes hesitant demeanor. It was a masterpiece of manipulation, designed to ensure the betrothal. Mara, with her true sight, saw the dust's faint, deceitful shimmer the moment Kayla presented the necklace to Arden as a gift from the Solara sisters. But fear of fracturing the family kept her silent. The betrothal was celebrated throughout Amaranthine Harbor. House Solara's influence soared. Baron, overjoyed, began delegating more responsibilities to Kayla, trusting her sharp mind. Kayla reveled in the power, subtly steering decisions, consolidating her position. Lyra, basking in the glow of Arden's seemingly genuine love and the necklace's enchantment, remained blissfully unaware. Mara watched, her true sight revealing the growing strain, the dust's shimmer intensifying around Arden whenever he spoke of business with Kayla, a flicker of calculation in Kayla's eyes that others missed. Mara felt like a ghost, haunting her own family, burdened by a secret too heavy to bear alone.
Tragedy struck during a routine salvage expedition. Baron Solara's ship, the Wave Dancer, was caught in a freak shadow squall near the Siren's Teeth Reefs. Only fragments of the ship and Baron's cherished star map compass washed ashore. Grief shattered the Solara sisters. Lyra withdrew, her light dimmed. Kayla, masking her own sorrow with steely resolve, stepped fully into leadership, citing her father's whispered wishes. Mara's grief was compounded by a terrifying vision during the funeral pyre, a glimpse of Kayla, days before the storm, tampering with the Wave Dancer's protective ward stone, a crucial artifact guarding against magical tempests. The vision was fleeting, chaotic, but the echo of Kayla's satisfaction was unmistakable to Mara's senses. Her father's death wasn't an accident. It was murder. Betrayal, cold and absolute, settled in Mara's heart. Confronting Kayla directly was suicide. Kayla now controlled Sunken Treasure Mercantile, her influence bolstered by the Titulus alliance. She dismissed Mara's vague fears as grief-induced hallucinations. her voice laced with chilling condescension. "Poor Mara," she'd sigh, "your gift overwhelms you. Focus on healing. Leave the business to me." Lyra, lost in her own sorrow and the necklace's comforting illusion, sided with Kayla, urging Mara to rest. Isolated and terrified, Mara knew she was alone. Revenge wasn't a choice. It was a debt owed to her father. But she needed proof. She needed to break the illusion binding Lyra. And she needed to be smarter than the sister who had orchestrated it all. Mara became a shadow within her own home. She used her true sight not just to see magic, but to listen. She learned Kayla was secretly funneling Solara funds into ventures with the Numerous Consortium, House Titleist's bitter enemy, using complex shell companies like Azure Shell Holdings and Mistvale Imports. Kayla wasn't just securing power, she was preparing to dismantle House Solara from within, selling its secrets and assets, planning to emerge as the power broker between Nemoris and Titleist once the dust settled. Arden Titleist, under the influence of the necklace, was blindly supporting Kayla's every move, believing it was for Lyra's benefit. Mara's first target was the Dawnstone necklace. She couldn't remove it openly. Instead, she began collecting subtle counteragents: moonpetal pollen, known to disrupt illusion magic, shavings from a truthstone geode found in the Whisperwood, and pure seafoam essence gathered at dawn. She worked in secret, late at night, crafting a delicate, nearly invisible paste. One evening, while helping Lyra brush her hair, Mara feigned clumsiness, accidentally spilling a vial of scented hair oil mixed with her concoction onto the Dawnstone. The necklace glowed briefly, hotter than usual, then settled. Mara held her breath. It was a start. Next, Mara needed proof of the wave dancer's sabotage. She remembered her father kept meticulous logs in his private study, now Kayla's domain. Using her knowledge of the house's hidden passages, remnants from Prohibition times when Sunspot rum was smuggled, Mara slipped into the study. Kayla's ledgers were encrypted with shifting rune locks. Mara's true sight allowed her to perceive the subtle energy patterns. It was painstaking work, deciphering the ledgers late at night, but slowly the ledgers revealed their secrets. Payments to a disgraced artificer, Silas Grime, known for disabling wardstones, records of Kayla acquiring a rare, volatile shadow crystal just before the storm, and damning correspondence with Vesper Numoris, head of the consortium, outlining the plan to eliminate Bayron and weaken Solara. Mara copied key pages onto special lumen silk using invisible starlight ink, readable only under moonlight. She also found Bayron's recovered star map compass in a locked drawer. Its needle, usually pointing north, quivered erratically towards Kayla's chambers whenever Mara held it, a final message from her father, attuned to treachery. Armed with evidence and the compass, Mara needed to wake Lyra. The paste on the necklace was working subtly. Lyra started having moments of clarity, fleeting doubts about Arden's sudden enthusiasm for Kayla's risky schemes, a strange hollowness when she touched the Dawnstone. She confided in Mara, her confusion evident. "Something feels wrong, Mara, like I'm looking through fogged glass." Kayla sensed the shift. She grew suspicious of Mara's quiet presence. She tightened security, planted loyal guards, and subtly increased the dosage of illusion dust emanating from the necklace, making Lyra more pliable, more tired. Time was running out. Kayla's grand move was approaching, the auction of the sunken city's heart, a legendary artifact Bayron had located before his death. Selling it to the Nemoris Consortium would bankrupt House Solara's reputation and fund Kayla's new empire. Mara knew she had to strike at the auction, held in the opulent Grand Tide Hall, with all the houses present. The night of the auction arrived. The Tide Hall glittered under enchanted chandelier jellies. Merchant lords and ladies in silks and scales murmured excitedly. Kayla stood at the podium, radiant and commanding, beside Arden Titleist. Lyra sat nearby, the Dawnstone glowing brightly, her eyes slightly unfocused.
Mara, disguised as a serving girl, using a simple glamour charm she'd bartered for with a mistweaver in the harbor slums, moved through the crowd, her heart pounding. She carried a tray bearing a single ornate goblet filled with rare coral wine destined for Kaela. As Kaela began her speech, extolling the heart's power and announcing the Nemoris Consortium as the preferred bidder, a blatant betrayal of tradition, Mara approached. Her true sight showed the thick cloud of illusion dust swirling around Kaela and Arden, amplified for the audience. This was the moment. As she offered the goblet to Kaela, she stumbled, dousing Kaela's hand and the Dawnstone necklace Lyra wore with the coral wine. But this wine was mixed with Mara's concentrated counteragent paste. The effect was instantaneous and spectacular. The Dawnstone necklace on Lyra flared violently, then shattered with a sound like breaking ice. The wave of released illusion dust, instead of dissipating, was supercharged by the coral wine and counteragent, recoiling violently towards its source, Kaela. A visible, shimmering wave of distorted light and fragmented images crashed over Kaela. The audience gasped as fleeting, chaotic visions flickered around her. Kaela tampering with the wave dancer's wardstone, Kaela whispering with Vesper Nemoris, Kaela crafting the Dawnstone necklace, her face twisted with envy. It was a brief, horrifying psychic backlash, revealing glimpses of her treachery. Kaela screamed, clawing at her face as the recoiling magic burned. Lyra gasped, clutching her throat where the necklace had been. The fog lifted from her eyes with shocking speed, replaced by dawning horror and betrayal as the fragmented visions and the sudden, visceral absence of the artificial love she'd felt coalesced into terrible understanding. "Kaela," she whispered, the sound carrying in the stunned silence. What did you do?"
Chaos erupted. Mara didn't hesitate. She threw off her glamour, stepping forward. "She murdered our father!" Mara's voice, usually soft, rang clear and strong. She held up the lumen silk pages. Proof! Ledgers showing payments for sabotage, correspondence with Nemoris. And this! She held aloft Baron's star map compass. Its needle spun wildly before locking onto Kaela with accusing certainty. "His compass points to his betrayer!" Kaela, recovering from the magical backlash, her composure shattered, snarled, "Lies! The girl is unstable! Her true sight twists reality! Seize her!" But her Talon guards hesitated, confused by the damning display. Vesper Nemoris, seeing the plan unravel, signaled his own guards to retreat. Arden Titulus stared at Lyra, his eyes clear for the first time in months, free of the necklace's influence. He saw not the perfect, enchanting illusion, but Lyra as she truly was, grief-stricken, betrayed, heartbroken, but real. The artifice of his affection vanished, leaving shock and dawning anger at how he'd been used. You enchanted me?" he demanded, turning on Kaela. "You used me to destroy your own family?" Kaela stood isolated, the mask fully off, raw ambition and panic in her eyes. "I saved this family," she shrieked, desperation twisting her voice. "Father was weak, Lyra weaker. I made us strong. I forged alliances. I secured our future." "By killing Papa?" Lyra's voice was a wounded cry, shattering the last pretense at the court. The raw pain in her words resonated through the hall. The gathered merchants, initially shocked, began to murmur, their expressions hardening against Kaela. The illusion of her competence and loyalty was utterly destroyed. Kaela saw the tide turning. She made a desperate lunge, not for Mara or Lyra, but for the sunken city's heart, a pulsating crystal sphere on display. "If I can't have it, no one will!" she screamed, reaching for its volatile power. "No!" Mara cried out, not in fear, but in command. She focused her true sight, not to see, but to impose. She projected the image, the feeling, of the eventide mirror, a legendary artifact said to reflect the true nature of one's soul onto the surface of the heart crystal. It was a desperate gamble, using her gift in a way she'd never had before. As Kayla's hand touched the heart, the crystal didn't explode.
Instead, it flared with intense, pure light, not destructive, but revealing. It acted like the eventide mirror Mara had envisioned. The light engulfed Kayla, and for a blinding moment, the entire tide hall saw not Kayla, the aspiring merchant queen, but the reflection of her soul laid bare. A landscape of jagged envy, cold ambition, and the dark, hollow void where love for her family should have been. It was a silent, devastating indictment more powerful than any accusation. The light faded. Kayla collapsed, not physically harmed, but utterly broken. The reflection had shown her the barrenness of her own heart, the true cost of her betrayal. She didn't fight as Arden Tydelus's guards, now acting to protect House Solara's true interests, moved to secure her. She simply stared at her own hands, a low, broken whimper escaping her lips. Lyra rushed to Mara, pulling her into a fierce embrace, tears streaming down both their faces. The betrayal was profound, the grief immense, but the bond between them, tested and scarred, held firm. Arden approached them, his expression a mix of shame, confusion, and a newfound respect. Lyra. Mara. I am so deeply sorry. I was blind. The path ahead was long, rebuilding House Solara, repairing alliances, navigating the fallout of Kayla's treachery, and mourning their father properly. Caleb faced exile to the barren Obsidian Isles. Stripped of name and title, her fate a somber reminder. Mara's revenge wasn't violent. It was revelation. She had exposed the poison, shattered the illusions, and forced the truth into the light. She hadn't destroyed Kayla. She had forced Kayla to see the destruction she had wrought upon herself. The Dawnstone was gone, but the true light of the Solara sisters, Lyra's resilience, Mara's quiet strength, and the enduring bond that Kayla's envy could never truly sever, began, slowly, to shine again over Amaranthine Harbor. The scent of salt spray still carried, but now it mingled with the bittersweet air of hard-won truth and the fragile promise of healing.